Oh, God. Okay. What's up, everybody? I'm pulling up my email list. If you were tuning in, you might have seen a social post we made asking you to come over here to YouTube for an update on all of the things that we are working on. This is going to be a video that there's not a lot of editing to, and it's going to be me rambling in my backyard. And I'm going to do my best to rein it in and get through this stuff as fast as possible. Let's go over what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this new Filth drop that we have, why we expanded, as well as some swing weights and static weights. We're going to talk about the, which that's these three paddles here, the Filths. And then we're going to be talking about the Racket, which is a Gen 1.5 line that we plan on launching later on this year. We're going to talk about something that we are calling the Project Wild Thing, and that is a modification to the Shogun that we're currently testing. We're going to talk about the blacked out and pinked out colorways of the Shogun Fat Boy and Invader. That's a very real thing that'll be coming very soon. We're going to talk about edgeguard tape. We're going to talk about car seat and court towels. We're going to talk about balls. We're going to talk about a new backpack. We're going to talk about a training paddle. And we are going to talk about some apparel things that we may or may not be doing. Probably more like may not be doing. We're still going to talk about it. It really comes down to just cool graphic tees. We're going to talk about the nerdy tourney. And I guess I'm going to leak this right now. We got a Dick's Sporting Goods contract. And for that, I think I might do this. Now, I know some of you probably know that I'm sick. Julie, my wife, is laying over on the couch on the back patio, and she is sick as well. Way more sick than me, and I probably shouldn't be drinking a beer while I'm sick, but I'm hoping that that allows me to, get through this, relax me a little bit, so I can edit this thing, upload it to YouTube, and go to sleep. Because, dude, I need some rest. Before we get started, this is Ninja versus Unicorn. It is a double India Pale Ale from Pipeworks Brewing out of Chicago. This is a heavy one. It's 8% alcohol by volume. Been drinking this beer whenever I can get it for a few years. My brother-in-law, shout out Isaac, brings me down a case of it every year at Christmas, and I usually run out about, I don't know, June. I just enjoy them here and there. So I'll be sipping on that today a little bit. All right, let's get into this thing. Let's first start off with the Filth. If I'm sniffling and stuff into this microphone, I apologize. I also don't even know if I mentioned the Psycho paddle. We're going to talk about that too. So as you guys know, the Filths have, come a long way in the sense of we offered them in different colorways, and we started with the white, and then we did the black versions with the different tan edge guards, and then we ended up doing the yellow and the pink. And this paddle has been very popular. It's at the $165 price point, little less expensive than our other paddles, like the Shogun and the Invader. Those have more premium face materials, and believe it or not, those premium face sheets, PET in particular, and when you add layers of fiberglass and do these things, the paddles get more expensive. And, it can be significant. It can be $10, $12 a paddle more just for adding certain things. And so that changes the price point, which is why they're, a little bit more than the $165 price point. So we started with the Filth, and about 3 months ago, I was guys, the Filth still sells so well. What if we begin to look at the Filth paddle line as more than just an elongated paddle, and we start to look at it as a line of paddles, and maybe we introduce the same shape as the Invader, same mold, as well as the Fat Boy, and we do a raw carbon fiber paddle, and we offer it as a line instead of just a paddle. there was a bunch of concerns. People were like, oh, well, if we change the design, people are going to be upset. They won't like it. So we're like, oh, let's leave it alone, or maybe just update it slightly. And then we ended up going on a branding tangent on the thing where it like started to look very different than the original Filth. And I reined everybody back in and was like, guys, we have to have a throwback to this like trippy pattern that's on the front of it. And so we used a very similar look, but we used this new like splatter, like dirty lockup that we call it. And yeah, they turned out I didn't know if when I started this project, I told everyone, I was like, I want to be very, very careful that we don't make people, or we don't make the new Filth where people are like, I like the old design better. And I guess there's always going to be someone that's like, I like the old design better, blah. There will always be that, but I'm telling you, this is better. It's better than the original. It looks better. And now let's talk about these paddles. So here's some tech specs. We got on the elongated, weight range is still kind of what it was before, 7.6 to 8 ounces. Swing weight was the same, right at the 121. On the hybrid side of things, I'll pull that one up real quick. So that was the elongated we talked about. I'll pull up the hybrid. And the elongated is like the coral color. The blue is the, when I'm talking about colors, I'm talking about this little lockup in the middle right here. The blue is the hybrid, and the hybrid weights are 8.0 to 8.1 ounces. And the swing weight ranges from like 115 to 117. This is the one that I've hit the most. I lean towards really liking hybrid paddles. I started with an elongated, and then I went to the Fat Boy, and then I started playing the Invader, and I absolutely still love that paddle. And dude, if you haven't hit the Invader, I recommend hitting that paddle. You put a little weight on the throats here, either side of the throat, here and here, and dude, the thing is, it's a really good paddle. But back to this paddle, this one plays really well. Not nearly as much pop, and not as much drive power as the Invader. But man, is it clean? It feels clean. Ball comes off the face really nice. Has good dwell time, and I feel like dinking feels nice and consistent. Little bit of a smaller sweet spot than the wide body or the standard shape Filth, which is this one. So like when you're talking sweet spot on these things, they kind of just do what you would expect, is they would get smaller, or larger rather, as you get wider. So smallest sweet spot, a little more punch and power. Next one down would be this one. This is the hybrid's going to feel a little bit faster in your face, the center paddle, and this one over here just is a control machine. It just feels nice and plush. But all of them have good pop and power. It's just kind of what you would expect coming from the shapes. I wanted to try to answer some questions that I think would come up, as people would ask, well, why did you turn it into a line? The reality is I wanted to have paddles at that 165 price point, not the 189, for the people that just didn't want to spend that little extra. And I also wanted to, I think the popularity of the Filth is that it's a intrusive design that a majority of the people, if they're a little bit more conservative in the look and feel of what they want to play, I think they gravitate towards the Filth a little bit that way. And it makes sense, right? Like if you don't like super flashy, I mean, sometimes I want something a little cleaner too, even though I love flashy, crazy stuff. So that's kind of why we did it. We wanted something that was less flashy, less crazy, a little bit like toned down, that still played really well. These are, if I haven't said it already, I don't think I have, these are Gen 2 thermoform paddles, made the same exact way as the Filth. Same construction, same layup, same face sheet, everything. Just looking a little cooler, and then the added benefits of 2 new shapes based on whether you like if you like a standard or a hybrid. We now have those options, and we put these in the hands of a bunch of local people. I've even got one guy that plays at our courts and rent space, and he asked if he could keep it, and I told him no. And then I saw him, he kept it, he didn't tell me. You know who you are. Leave my paddle. My elongated, that's mine. Leave it at the warehouse. You can buy one when they come out. Jesus. Anyway, so that pretty much covers the Filth. Let's talk about when those are dropping, and then we'll move on. We get the paddles next week. here. So what is today's date? Today is the 19th. We'll have them sometime next week. It's the 19th of March. We probably should have them the week of the 24th to the 28th. The problem is that when they printed the paddle covers, they printed the wrong graphics on each cover shape. So they had to remake all the covers. So literally the paddles are ready to go besides that. And also, I'm going to hit on this. I'm not going to deep dive into it, but the USAP is taking, so I have to drink talking about this particular topic because it's frustrating. The USAP is taking a lot longer to approve paddles these days, guys. I'm checking audio and making sure we're recording. But yeah, the USAP, it used to be that we could pay a rush fee and we could get something approved in like a week. Dude, it's now like 8, 10, 12 weeks and you can't pay for a rush anymore. So long story short, we are having to wait for approval. So we're still waiting for approval on the 2 additional shapes. We don't have to get the Filth reapproved because it's just a graphics change, but we are having to wait to get the other 2 paddles approved. What we haven't decided is if we're going to go ahead and just sell them. We know they're going to pass. There's no reason that they're not going to. There's nothing crazy in them. Same material makeup as the Filth. There's no reason they won't. They'll pass PB Core, all of that. Well, at least we hope they pass PB Core. But yeah, we're just waiting. We're waiting to get those results. And we actually have an independent lab that tests a little bit faster than USAP on the private side. And so they do administer all the same tests. So they're going to go ahead. We're having to pay extra now to have them pass us. And then once we get passed, then we'll know we'll pass USAP. And at that point, we'll probably put them up for pre-order. I guess that's probably the best way to fill you in on how it's going to work. We are blowing out all of the old Filths and all the different colorways. There's not that much inventory. We planned this out and forecasted so they would run out about the same time. But there is some inventory in, and we just want to get it gone. We want to make sure they're all gone so that as these drop, we're ready to go. So if you would like to, you can go to bnbpickleball.com this Friday, March 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are going to put all the Filths on sale for 25% off. And just so you know, we're blast emailing like close to, I think, 40,000 people with this deal. So at noon on Friday, I would say if you want to get one of these, I'd move pretty quickly because there's some of these colors that there's not that many or that much stock in. So anyway, that's it. Let's move on to the next topic. Hope you guys can snag yourself one of the old ones if you're looking for a deal, replace one of your old ones, or if you want to wait. Yeah, you can grab the new ones when they come out like early April. I guess I didn't really say that. We're going to announce early April when they'll be available for pre-order because we don't want to make people wait long. I don't mind taking someone's money if it's only going to take like 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get the paddles, but if it starts going in over a month, then we're probably not going to pre-order it. We need to know that those paddle covers are going to be here, and I don't want to double ship paddle covers after the fact. All right, let's go back to... Whew, that was the most intense one. There's a lot of information about those Filths. Let's talk about the Psycho. Psycho Killer. So, do not pay attention to these graphics. These aren't it. These are not it. What this is us splashing some graphics on the prototype that we might like. This one, I don't have the other prototype here with me, and I needed to film this video, so I'll just shoot it with this newest one. I haven't even hit this paddle. I've got 2 or 3 people hitting it right now, and they all seem to like it a lot, at least within the first couple days of hitting it. This is a 14 millimeter. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a 14 millimeter. It is a PET face sheet with a carbon fiber layup that goes polypropylene, layer of carbon fiber, layer of fiberglass, layer of carbon fiber, and then the PET surface. Based on the feedback that I'm getting, people are liking this thing. What I don't like is that it came in at like 8.3 ounces, which is not great. Needs to be tweaked. So unless we decide to just go ahead and leave it at 8.3 and I'm going to hit it a little bit myself when I'm feeling better here in the next few days. But let me give you where we were with the Psycho and where we are now. So, and I'll be total transparent on how this all worked. I'm going to blame it on Justin Barton, the bearded maniac from the, God, I'm blanking. Not pickle. I almost said Pickleball Effect. And why am I blanking right now? Oh my God. Anyway, Justin Barton, I approached him after we had already made this sample in a 16 millimeter, and we really liked it. It was a layer of fiberglass, just like the Invader, on the Fat Boy shape, and I really liked that paddle a lot. It had a little bit more pop, a little bit more punchy, but still a ton of control, and it just felt great. And I hired Justin to take a look at it and give me some feedback and run some tests and whatnot on it, and basically just have him give me a little bit of like market analysis on how he felt like it would go compared to other Y buddies on the market. And Justin said, "Hey, I like it. It's good." I don't want to put those words. I think he did say it was good. I think he said he liked it. He said, "My only suggestion is, would you ever consider doing this at a 14 millimeter?" And I was like, "Dude, bread and butter doesn't do 14 millimeters, man. Like, it's just too risky. I don't want to listen to." And let me explain this really quick. I know there's a bunch of nerds out there that would love to hit a 14 millimeter. I've hit a couple 14 millimeters that I like as well. The problem is that we sell to such a wide range of players, from like 2.5s to 5.0s, like beginners to like, prosumer level players, that at the end of the day, I got to be really careful, because if we make a paddle and it's not easy to play with or has some little quirks or idiosyncrasies that a higher level player might like, or is more in line with what they like, the majority of the people that buy the paddle might not. So this paddle is just heavy. I think Justin told me the swing weight was 1. Let me see real quick. Please stand by. Actually, Justin didn't tell us. We actually did the swing weight on this when we got it in, and it is 8.3 ounces with a 114 swing weight. So the swing weight was pretty high too. Justin was saying, "Hey, really would like to get this thing to a target of 7.8 to 8 ounces with a swing weight of 108 to 112. So we're not there. So that is the Psycho. I know you all want it. I have a 16 millimeter that I think is a better move. I think what might happen to this is we might take this 14 and shuffle it down the road, put the 16 into play because we know people are going to love that paddle, and then revisit the 14 until we absolutely get it right. Because I'm going to tell you, even though I haven't hit it, I'm probably going to like it, but I don't think it's the right move for the brand, for the business, if that makes sense. And I know you nerds are going to be like, "Oh, come on. I want to hit an 8.3 ounce, standard shape paddle and see how that feels." I'm looking forward to it too. It might be a little wild, but I have a feeling it's going to hurt my elbow. All right, let's move on from that. We'll keep you in the new, or keep you up to date on the Psycho, the Racket. I'm not going to talk about this one very long. We are working on, and we have prototypes done and pretty much approved on a Gen 1.5. This paddle is going to be a Gen 1.5 thermoform paddle that we are hoping to launch at a target price of, I don't know yet, but we're trying to get it as low as we can. And we're talking to our manufacturer about what is the cheapest way that we can make it without sacrificing quality, because I don't want to release, like everyone's like, "Oh, I wish you had a $99 paddle." Well, $99 paddles are cool, but the amount of time and effort that we go into with branding these things and also the marketing of them is not cheap. And I think we could do well with a paddle like that, but I want to make sure that it plays well, and also that we can make it for a significant amount less than we currently are. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, there's so much profit in pickle." Well, go run an ad campaign, go hire 7 or 8 employees, have a bunch of consultants, deal with legal fees and all kinds of other stuff that goes on, and you will find that, like, that's fine if you want to make a $99 paddle and run this thing out of your basement and or your garage. That's cool, and we're totally cool with that. There's people that are doing that, but I like to build a brand that has a bunch of employees that help a bunch of families, feed a bunch of people, and actually create something a little bit bigger than just myself. If I wanted to sell $99 paddles out of my garage with my wife and we could pack them in the evenings, yeah, we could have a decent little business. But I like to have a team and I like to do that stuff. So the racket will be coming, price to be determined. We got to get all of that build cost right, and then we'll move forward. Let's talk about the Shogun / Wild Thing. So we are waiting on 2 versions of the Shogun. They're modifications to it. We did one with a layer of fiberglass. This is very much just like the Psycho. We took except the reverse version. So the Psycho went from Invader with the fiberglass that we loved, and now we're like, hey, maybe we do the Invader with like out and without the layer of fiberglass. With the Shogun, we have no fiberglass in it, and now we're like, let's try to add a layer of fiberglass. So that we did that, and that sample I think gets here like tomorrow or the next day. And then we are also taking the Shogun and we are thinning it up and taking it to like a 15 millimeter. And the reason we're doing that is we're afraid that if we go the 16 millimeter with the layer of fiberglass, that paddle is going to be very heavy and have a very high swing weight and not feel good in the hand. It's the same thing that whenever you're adding layers of fiberglass and this stuff, it's adding weight and things get a little wonky. So that takes care of the Shogun, or the Shogun / Wild Thing. So you have the Shogun. If you see us come out with a fiberglass version elongated paddle, as of right now, providing any legal issues with that name, we are going to be calling that paddle the Wild Thing. And then I got a note in here from Aurora, going back to the Invader. The Invader, we started with the fiberglass. We're also, we talked about doing a more premium version of a PET surface hybrid paddle that doesn't have a layer of fiberglass. And get this, we're talking about renaming it, or reusing the name rather, the Loco. So all of these things we're working on, they're coming along, but they're not fast like they used to be because of the USAP thing. So we're just going through the motions and trying to get them done as quick as we can. Let's talk about blacked out and pink colorways of the Shogun Fat Boy Innovator. Here's the deal. We talked a little bit earlier. I'm going to lean back a little bit here. We talked a little bit earlier about people liking or disliking flashy versus non-flashy and all of that. I don't think the Shogun is that flashy. I think the Fat Boy is very flashy, and I think the Invader is very flashy. That being said, those paddles have all been very, very, very good winners for us and sold really well. And I want to continue to sell them because I think that in a world of uncertainty with foam paddles, which we'll touch on that later, and if I don't touch on it later, I'll come back and do a full video to talk about foam. But I wanted to have these 3 top-selling paddles that I think are still very valid and still very good playing paddles and very solid and consistent. I wanted them to all have a version that was less blingy or less out there. You're probably going to hear the weed eater dude next door, whatever. So what we did is we blacked out all of them. Black edge guards, black graphics and emblems on all the black butt caps, black ink on black surface. And yeah, we're doing that for all 3 of those. And then we're also doing a hot pink version, which the best way to explain that would be to like look at this paddle. This is the Filth. So the original Filth was all white, like this, and we just took all the graphics and changed them up so they had a little bit of pink and a little bit of blue in there. So we're doing a pink version of all of those as well, for everyone that just loves the color pink. The problem that we've run into is we're trying to nail down the color pink that we like. Black's a little easier. Pink is difficult. Pink is, not all pinks are created equal, and we're really going for like a very fluorescent pink. I was looking to see if there was a good pink on this beer can. There is not, but that's the deal with those. Those will be launching, this is March. I'm going to say those will be dropping sometime in May. Mid to late May, and then the latest maybe June. So what do we got next? Nose running. Edgeguard tape. Edgeguard tape is exciting, but also we are taking our time with certain aspects of that. So we are going to have edgeguard tape, but I don't want to just like have lame designs. I want these to be like hand-drawn, really cool stuff, and that's where we're at. We're taking our time. We're going to start off by launching edgeguard tape for the main paddle brands, Fat Boy, Filth, Invader, Shogun. Like, we'll have matching patterns for those that should be out, I'd say, in the next like 60 days. So like by May again. A lot of stuff dropping in May. But when those are done, then we'll begin to work on like patterns and cool stuff that we think that would look good on other paddles that aren't even ours. Whether you play Yola, Selkirk, Honolulu Pickleball Company, 11624, Chorus, whatever brands you want to play. You might even want to put them on a pickleball paddle and cover the edgeguard. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe you could do that. But yeah, so we're planning on having a bunch of edgeguard colors in there that are fun and patterns that are cool, and we are excited to launch those. Car seat towels. I'm gonna have to move for this one. Okay, here, check this out. You might be able to see one right over here in the corner of the camera. I put it up there strategically as a very like hidden little thing that maybe you'll see. So this is gonna be hard to do. So these are prototypes. These are a microfiber towel. Little bit of branding right here. You can see Bread and Butter Pickleball Company sewn in. The backside is a black microfiber, and then on the inside, oh man, hold on. Ugh. This one has it. Oh no, did I knock my beer over? No, I didn't. Okay, this one has it on the end. So they're sewn, and then so this is the front, and they're sewn with a little lip over the back, and then under here is like some kind of little like beaded gel for like friction, so that you can slide it over the back of your car seat, and this thing will go over your entire seat, not all the way down to the floor, but just hang there, so you do not get your entire car seat funked up after you go sweat for 3 or 4 hours playing pickleball. You also can take this thing and bring it with you to the court, and we're sewing on a little hanger so you can hang it on the fence or hang it on your bag. They work great at the beach. I've been using them for that, and we are going to offer those in a ton of patterns. So those are coming soon. I'm very, very excited about those. That's a product that I like. I just don't want to be arbitrarily making stuff that doesn't like have really good function, and those are great. I've been using mine for about a month. The samples that we have, I love the thing. I even took it in the woods. I was all muddy after I got off my four-wheeler, and I sat in my new truck, and I have new leather seats in there, and I didn't want to get them nasty, and my boots were all junked up, and I put them right on top of my car mats, and then my boots went up against this thing. I had to wash it, cleaned up perfect. It was great. Didn't mess up my chair or my seat. Balls. I'm not talking about balls. We're working on this. We have a ball that we really like. There's so much stuff that we have to get done. We have a ball that we really like that we are going to make, and we're calling it something that I'm not going to unleash yet because we're checking the IP on the name. And the goal is to have the cheapest balls in pickleball. The cheapest balls in pickleball. Say that again. That's what we're working on. Let's jump into something that's a little bit more real. New backpack. So we are in the process of onboarding a consultant to design a backpack for us. And in fact, she just sent me an email. Let's just see. I just got it when we started this whole thing. She broke down. Yeah, this is what I thought. This is very expensive. Do I tell these people what it is? I don't know if I want to tell people what it is. I'll tell people what it is. It's between 10 and 15 grand to design this backpack. That's all this girl does. She's been designing backpacks for really big outdoor brands. Basically, we ship her everything that we want to go into the pickleball bag. We give her some ideas or don't. It's up to us how we want to do it. And she designs a bag. I'm probably going to ship her everything and let her design her own prototype first. And then I'm going to look at it and see if I really like it, because I don't want to put my ideas in her head and then have her like just make whatever I want, because at that point I probably shouldn't be spending 10 to 15 grand. I should hire an AutoCAD operator and have them just lay the thing out. So I do want to see what she comes up with. But we are working on designing our own pickleball bag with her, and I'm excited about that. We still have a bunch of the kitchen backpacks back on, still friends with Grub. Everything's good. I told Grub a couple weeks ago we're going to start designing our own bag. It's just easier that way. We're in control of production. Don't have to worry about shipping times. It's on us. We just want control of our own bag. So, yeah, we're working on the new bags. That timeline for that, I can tell you, is we start with her like probably next week, and we are shooting to have that bag done and made, shipped, delivered, and ready for sale for Black Friday of 2025. That's right, guys. November. That's how long this is going to take from design, conceptualizing design, technical documents, sew off number 1, wait for it to get shipped back to us, review it, make changes, and hopefully get it done by sew off number 2 or 3 before it's perfect. But yeah, that's it. Might include you all in some of that to help us, but also we're on such a tight timeline. We may just internally have a little board that we work with here locally that helps us, so it's not too overwhelming. That's the bag. Trainer paddle. We are coming out with a trainer paddle. It is going to be called the Little Spanky, and I think Devin's working on that. Like, we're not far off. I think we need to do a graphics package for it, but that ain't hard. That's what we do. That Little Spanky is going to be Little Spanky. Really excited about that one. New apparel designs. I told you we're not really going to talk about that. We're working on some new t-shirt layouts and stuff like that. I'm planning on having more of that. But we're just going to keep stealing those from the brand stuff that we do. And I don't want to get into apparel, man. Did that in a previous life. Not fun. Don't love it. Don't love it. I did tell you about a Dick's Sporting Goods contract. I don't know how much I can really say about that, but I'll tell you this. We're starting off slow, but we're supposed to open our first store in Miami, I think, in like a couple weeks maybe. Which, by the way, guys, we're in freaking Dick's Sporting Goods, bro. Like, seriously, we're in Dick's Sporting Goods. Super freaking awesome. They came to us and wanted to carry us. We weren't even pestering, which is even, in my opinion, even cooler. But yeah, we got Dick's coming, and the plan is to see how it goes for a month and then start to open up a bunch more stores. We have, we've got some paddles that we made that are Gen 1 just for them. That'll only be exclusive to Dick's. They have cool designs on them. It's our dead ball pattern, just like this, but in a bunch of cool colors. Those are coming. So yeah, I don't really want to say much more than that, but really excited. I think the only reason I don't want to say anything about it is, like, I don't want to get into Dick's Sporting Goods and, like, they call us a month later and they're like, hey, all your paddles sold like shit. We want you to come pick up all your stuff and we're going to, like, move a different brand in here. Like, I'm worried that could ultimately happen, but I don't think so. I think it'll do good. Last thing, the nerdy tourney. The nerdy tourney. So, we are putting together an event. I'm not going to say when, and I'm not going to say where, but we are hosting a nerdy tourney, and the nerdy tourney is pretty rad. We invited pretty much every single YouTube paddle reviewer that is alive on this planet in the United States breathing right now. And we invited all of them to come to this tournament and play. And we helped out finance-wise to help get them all to come into town. And the reason that we're ultimately doing it is these guys have all been instrumental in helping us, me, Bread and Butter as a whole, to grow in this business. And I'm not even talking about just from, like, them, like, sales wise and, like, you know, giving out their code and review. Yes, that all is part of it and that helps. But also, these are, like, good dudes that, like, I've ran ideas by that are always there to, like, talk to me about it and be like, oh, I don't think you should make that. I think you should make this. I think this would be received better. I hate your paddle. Don't like it that much. I think you need to go back to the drawing board. Like, all these guys have helped us do what we have done. And yes, they get paid out commissions, and that is one way to say thank you to someone. But also, I wanted to, like, handshake and have face-to-face with some of these guys that I haven't had that with. And I also wanted to play pickleball with a bunch with them. And, I mean, if I was a pickleball player and didn't own this company and I watched all the paddle reviews, my dream would be to go hang out with all these guys and play pickleball and eat tacos and drink beers and hang out. And I was like, well, man, I own a company that can pay for this and bring all these guys in here and have a good time. And I was like, I'm doing that just as much for me to have a good time as anything. And again, this is just to say thank you to them for all the support, all the love, and we're really looking forward to that. So yeah, that'll be coming up here in a few months. And I'm sure we'll post some videos and some content from it. And I mean, we may not even do that much. I'm sure they'll probably post a bunch of stuff too, but we'll definitely try to put some highlights and stuff together. So anyway, I think that's it. I told you this was going to be a ramble. I don't even know if my camera is even recording right now. Let me look at my audio. 35 minutes. I guess it's not that bad. 35 minutes. If you watch this and you're at home, you need a life. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love watching like stuff like this from brands and from other YouTubers and stuff. So, not that I'm a YouTuber. I'm not. But this is a way for us to connect with everybody. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to 2025. Some of you might be like, man, Bread and Butter's been a little quiet over there. And we have. But I'll tell you what. That's because we're busy working on all this new stuff, because I don't see a bunch of sense in launching a ton of stuff. January, February, March, April. Those are planning months for us, and we are coming out hot for the summer, because that's when pickleball is banging all over the United States. So anyway, appreciate it. Thanks to everyone. If you're in Chicago, try Ninja versus Unicorn. This stuff is spicy. It is very good. I only got about a quarter through it. Probably going to put it back on ice, edit this video, and I'm going to go take a nap. I hope I feel better in a week or so, and I hope to see you in a week or so. Anyway, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.